How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to SB252 and a big time game, the Rose Bowl. The playoffs were on the line. Georgia, the Bulldogs have just defeated Oklahoma Sooners 54-48 and double overtime. Wow, a lot to get into for this one. Baker Mayfield and the Oklahoma Sooners came out rocking to start this ball game. We think about Baker Mayfield went all the way down the field, threw a touchdown pass to Brown. And on that situation, the Bulldogs defense has got to do better than that. They didn't bump the receiver like they should have, and the safety was late getting over, got that early touchdown. But give Georgia a lot of credit. They came back from, let the team down the field, threw a touchdown pass to Michelle, but that wasn't the first touchdown he got in this game. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But wow, 31-17 at halftime. Georgia defense never gives up that many yards. We knew the storyline coming into this ball game would be that stellar Georgia defense who was only allowing 270 yards per game and 112 on the ground. Baker Mayfield, the Heisman quarterback. Remember, the walk-on, two-time walk-on, he's the first walk-on to win a Heisman Trophy. 71 completion percentage, which is the best in the whole college football. He also gets 11.8 yards per passing play. So that Georgia defense didn't do much in the first half. Even according to Coach Kirby Smart, he said, listen, it was quite frankly a poor performance in the first half. But the Bulldogs are a third quarter team. Coming into this game, they outscored their opponents 147-27 in the third quarter, and they only had allowed 3 touchdowns. Well, in this third quarter, they came storming back. And early in the fourth quarter, they were able to take the lead 38-31 thanks to an interception that was thrown by Baker Mayfield. Now, other than that one interception, Baker Mayfield had a very clean game. We think about he had about 282 passing yards. He really did everything that he could, and he also tossed for 2 touchdowns. So that wasn't the issue. Despite this illness that he had, he came out balling. But the Georgia defense tightened up. And the offense, give Fromm a lot of credit. He was able to go out there. I know he didn't have a lot of yards, but he was clean. And I really want to give the Bulldogs a lot of credit as a team as well, because after that Auburn loss, I really thought that they were done when they lost at Auburn earlier in the year and they got blown out 40-17. But Fromm, the true freshman quarterback, was poised, and his running backs came through today. Sony Michel finished the game with 4 touchdowns on the day. 4 in a big-time Rose Bowl game that went to overtime. This was the first Rose Bowl overtime game in history. It did not disappoint. And once this game got to overtime, no one could score touchdowns. No one got in the end zone. Even Baker Mayfield had a good chance to get into the end zone. I believe it was like 3rd down and 5, but the defense was offsides, threw an interception, had a free play, couldn't get it. But at the same time, in the end of the day, in second overtime, that blocked field goal was what set it off. That was it. Georgia has known to block field goals this year. I believe they blocked 3 short field goals coming into the game. So we knew that was a possibility, and that's exactly what happened. Baker Mayfield loses, and Sony Michel runs that touchdown at the very end to put the icing on the cake. He finished with over 150 yards. Like I said, he had 4 touchdowns. Nick Chubb, 2 touchdowns. Georgia really used that direct snap. And in the second half, they became physical. They went back to their identity. Now, both teams had over 500 yards of offense today, which altogether, if you think about it, if you add it up, over 1,000 yards of offense, a very entertaining game. We will not forget this game for the ages. Unforgettable. Even Anderson himself, Rodney Anderson, had 200 yards rushing. Wasn't enough. Even his 2 scores weren't enough either. Sony Michel had that fumble. We thought it was going to cost them, but it didn't. And Georgia Bulldogs give him a lot of credit on moving on to face either Clemson and Alabama in the championship. And Baker Mayfield, man, I got tons of respect for you. When the game was on the line, you did show up. I know a lot of the critics are going to come out against Baker Mayfield and said, he didn't come through in the third quarter. Well, he came through when it was time. Just the kicker had his field goal blocked. Anyway, thank you guys for watching SB 252. A great college football game, man. This is exactly why we love it. Appreciate it. And also, I'll talk to you guys later.